I'm going to start out with a personal story today that has to do with our topic. Back when I was in ninth grade, there was a new kid, and it's very exciting because when you're growing up in rural Vermont, you don't really get very many new kids, like maybe you get a new kid every couple years, but when you only have a class of like 95 kids, having a new kid, especially a cute one, for a ninth grade girl, it's very exciting. Anyway, so I'm, engaging with this boy and I'm telling him about myself and, I tell him like, don't worry, but like maybe because I'm a bit crazy, and he looks at me and he says, well, crazy people don't know they're crazy. And I was like, what? Crazy people don't know they're crazy. And this really gave me a lot of relief because I was like, well, if I kind of know my crazy and understand my crazy, then maybe I'm not really that crazy. So, thank you for joining us today. I'm Jessica Disbrow. I'm a licensed social worker and registered psychotherapist in the state of Colorado. I'm also the owner and primary therapist of Higher Consciousness Healing. We're a small private practice in Lakewood, Colorado that offers holistic therapy to youth and adults. If you want more information about our practice, please check us out online at www.higherconsciousnesshealing.org. We also have our live video blog, which you're watching, where we air different mental health topics from a spiritual and scientific perspective, and we talk about them. So thanks for joining us. Please, just a reminder, if you have any questions or comments during our show, please feel free to ask them during, and I'll try and get them as best as I can. So, crazy people kind of get a bad rep, because it's really not their fault in a lot of ways because they really don't know any better. And we call them crazy because we really just don't understand their perspective and we don't understand what's going on for them. And so we kind of see their behavior as really crazy, just something that we can't understand. So really that's the kind of crazy that I'm talking about. I don't really want to stigmatize people who have mental health disorders or problems like that or anything. But it's really important to talk about emotional regression because it's unconscious. So we don't realize that we're doing it basically. And the reason for that is when we're young, especially in this society in America, we're taught that feeling is bad, basically. We're taught if we get upset, we need to shut up. We need to be quiet. We need to go and sit in a corner and calm down. And we're not really taught how to appropriately move through our emotions and how to let them go and how, what ends up happening when we shut down our emotions is we push them down real far and they kind of come out in weird ways. And someone told me recently, she said they come out sideways. I really love that expression because that's exactly what happens. It comes out sideways and it comes out in ways that you don't understand, that you can't predict, and that a lot of times you don't even realize you're doing. So what are those signs? So I've figured out 5 common signs. I think they're the most common that I've seen anyway. And again, it's all perspective. So it's up for you to decide. Number 1, taking care of everyone else all the time. And this goes for a lot of caregivers, especially moms. This is really hard almost not to do as a parent because you want to take care of your kids. You want to take care of your family, and they're so important to you. However, really what ends up happening is you no longer have time to take care of yourself. And that's not really a good thing. Because as I've discussed in other episodes, when we don't put ourselves first, we can't take any care of anybody else. And really we're doing ourselves and our families a disservice by constantly taking care of them and not addressing our own needs. And what that also means, if you're falling into that category, is you probably have some boundary issues too. It might be hard to say no. It might be hard to not overwhelm yourself with what other people need because their needs seem more important than yours. Your needs are just as important. Okay. Number 2, you keep busy all the time. And that basically, again, allows you no time to deal with your things and your baggage. Workaholics easily fall into this category. People who are constantly having a social calendar, they're always busy and almost every waking moment is spent with someone else. And of course, planners also fall into that category. People who really plan things ahead of time and really almost consciously make it so they don't have time for themselves. So again, that's, signs that you're not necessarily dealing with your emotions. So, number 3, getting upset over really small things. And that's a sign, this is kind of how it comes out sideways, that you're dealing with something that you're not dealing with. You get angry at your partner when they forget to do the dishes and really like they came home late, whatever. And it's actually a completely understandable situation. But, this is the 3rd time they've done it this week and you've just had it and you're just going off on them, they're just dishes. They really are just dishes. And really what the problem is you're actually upset about something else that you're not dealing with. Road rage is another great example. People who get really upset on the road and they're cursing and spitting and it's like this monster comes out of them. And you're like, whoa, I didn't know that was inside of you, friend, that I'm driving with. It's kind of a little scary. But again, we're not dealing. So our aggression is going to come out in ways that aren't related to the reason why we're actually upset. Because we've made it so it's not okay to get upset about the thing we're actually upset about because we've said, no, we can't do that. Growing up, your parents said, no. So we say no, but we can get upset at other drivers. We can get upset at our cell phone when it starts malfunctioning and we get really angry and we smash it. When we find ourselves getting upset over things and not people, that's a really strong sign that there's stuff that you're not dealing with. Because it's not about those things. It's just your cell phone being your cell phone, and it's only as good as it can be. Crying over spilt milk is another one. Again, getting upset, really upset over something really small. It's a sign that there's other stuff going on that has to be dealt with. All right, number 4, you find yourself getting sick a lot. And granted, there's a lot of things to get sick over. However, it is a sign that you're not taking care of yourself physically and emotionally, because it really does all start with dis-ease. Dis-ease. We're not at ease with our mind, our emotions, our body, and something is amiss. And that really is the root of disease. So it's really important to take care of your body. Really, really important, because like I've covered in the other episodes, taking care of your body is number 1. Always attend to your body first. All right. And number 5, for the younger people watching, the millennials, you tend to date people who are wrong for you. You know who I'm talking about. People do this because they don't want to get close, basically. Because if they date someone who isn't right for them, and then they keep dating them, even though they know there's no real future in it, they're basically passing time. They're getting other things out of their relationship, but not that real intimacy, not that deeper level of emotional connection. And that's a sign, that you're not dealing with some stuff. You find yourself dating people who are emotionally unavailable. They don't want to go there with you. They don't want to express their emotions. And you say, well, it's them. Well, you have to ask yourself, well, why are you dating this person? If they're not emotionally available and not supporting you and not being the person that you really do need in your life, why are you with them? And then finally, I've seen this quite a few times, falling in love while on vacation, traveling, or right before you're about to move. We tend to let our guard down when we know that there's an end because there's less risk. Well, I'm going to leave anyway. This isn't really a good situation, so I can kind of like bear all and then just hightail it out of the country or wherever I'm going. So got to be careful for that too. All right, that covers our 5 really common ways that people emotionally regress and how it kind of comes out sideways. And there's a lot more than just these 5. There's tons of ways that we emotionally repress and lots of ways that it can come out sideways. I just wanted to cover the basics so we can start building awareness, because that's what we need to do. And I'm going to be talking about that in my next week's episode. We need to build awareness, because if we're not aware of our thoughts, our emotions, how we feel in our body, we can't really address any of this stuff because we're kind of flying blind. So it ends up being really important, and I want to talk more about it. So next week, building self-awareness. And I'm just going to give it a minute for any questions or any comments as we wrap up. And I'm just going to make a few quick announcements while I'm waiting for any questions about emotional repression. I might have said regression and repression. I definitely mean when we repress our emotions. So, the announcements. We have some really cool things going on at Higher Consciousness Healing. We're starting up 2 different groups. One's going to be a monthly support group, and the other one's going to be a 12-week therapy group that's going to be starting in the fall. They're both aimed at millennials ages 18 to 30 who are interested in learning more about the things that I've been talking about on my channel, who are interested in going deeper with their own self and emotions and diving into some of that baggage in a safe, healing space. You know, I also do that work individually too, so it's up to you where you fit in, and if you fit in at all, of course. And I'm just really excited to be building local community. I've really enjoyed doing this live video blog, and I'm going to keep doing it for a while. But I am going to be starting to move some of this information offline and into the community, and I think that's going to be wonderful. So I hope you can join us. If you want to sign up or you're interested in learning more about those 2 groups, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. I'll give you our website again. You can find all of our contact information there. That's www.higherconsciousnesshealing.org. All right, I don't see any questions or comments, so I'm going to end today's episode. I really hope you can all join me next week. And don't forget, if you like this video, please like, share, and spread the word with your friends and family on social media. All right, thanks a lot.